Hi Leah, how are you?
Good.
My name is Nurse Summer, and a doctor told me that you received your schedule of vaccines today for Emma, and he wanted me to come in and talk to you about another vaccine called Haemophilus influenzae. Do you know what that is?
No.
Alright, so Haemophilus influenzae, it's also called HIV. It sounds like it causes the flu, but it actually doesn't. It's actually a bacteria. Years ago, researchers thought that this was the cause of the flu, but it turns out it's not. The flu is caused by a virus. So Haemophilus influenzae is a bacteria, and you can actually get a vaccine to prevent it. So it's actually causing more cases each year. In 2013, around 4,000 cases were diagnosed in the United States. So it is increasing in number. So since Emma is about 8 months old, she's in the range where it can affect her. Haemophilus influenzae actually mostly affects young children younger than 5. Do you have any questions about what Haemophilus influenzae is? Okay. Well, Nurse Emily is going to come in to talk to you about how it's spread and the signs and symptoms you should look for.
Okay. Hi, my name is Emily. I'm just going to be talking to you about how Haemophilus influenza is spread and the signs and symptoms. So it's spread through droplet transmission, which means that if you're within 6 feet of someone and you cough or sneeze, it can be spread that way. Most people that have it are asymptomatic, which means they don't have symptoms, but it can be dormant in their nose, mouth, or throat. And so even if you don't have symptoms, you can still pass it to your baby. So now I'm going to talk to you about some signs and symptoms of it, which it doesn't really cause any symptoms. It mostly causes serious infections, one of those being meningitis. And the signs and symptoms of this that you need to look out for are fever, like a stiff neck, severe headache, nausea, vomiting. The patient can also experience epiglottitis, which is swelling of part of the throat, and meningitis and epiglottitis are a medical emergency. So it can also cause pneumonia, which is an infection of the lungs, and signs and symptoms you can look out for are coughing, fever, hard to breathe. It can also cause bacteremia, which is an infection of the bloodstream, and it can also cause infection of the joints and bones. So you just need to look for signs and symptoms of these types of infection. So now Nurse Hannah is going to talk to you about prevention.
Okay, now I'm going to talk to you about the vaccine that's available for your child. Since your baby is over 2 months of age, you can go ahead and get her vaccinated. We recommend it for children under 5 because that's when they can get infected. If your baby happened to get infected before the age of 2, we would recommend a revaccination because the antibodies basically hadn't built up immunity to the disease by that age, so we recommend the baby getting another vaccine after the age of 2 if they were infected. So to prevent this disease for you, if your baby were to get it, we would recommend you getting antibiotics prophylactically just to prevent the disease for the mother, basically. If your baby were to get it and get diagnosed, you could possibly go to your doctor and ask about antibiotics available for you to help you keep from getting sick because they are pretty serious infections that you guys would need to watch out for. Okay, now Emily's going to come talk to you about complications that can occur with this disease.
Alright, so I'm here today to talk to you about how to treat the HIV disease. So if your baby were to contract this disease, we would treat her with antibiotics. These usually run for a course of 10 days. For more invasive diseases like the meningitis and the bacteremia, it's going to require a little more aggressive treatment than if there would be like an ear infection. But overall, this tends to have a pretty good prognosis depending on the disease that the baby does contract from the bacteria. Obviously, meningitis is going to have a worse prognosis than an ear infection. If she were to contract meningitis, she could suffer from brain damage or hearing loss, if she were to contract bacteremia, she could lose a limb possibly. So we really do want to make sure, if you think that she could have this, that we do get her surrounding antibiotics quickly. You do want to make sure you're bringing her in. So we've talked to you a little bit about the symptoms and the complications that are associated with the HIV bacteria. Do you have any more questions on anything for us?
I had a few questions.
Okay. So let me go ahead and bring my nurses back in and we'll talk to you real quick and address those for you. Okay, so what questions do you have for us?
So this isn't the flu, right?
Correct.
It's not the flu, it's actually a bacteria. It's called Influenzae because years ago they thought that it was a cause of the flu, but then they realized the flu was caused by a virus. This is actually a bacteria that we can prevent with a vaccine. And we just want to reiterate that we've talked to you about signs and symptoms of HIV, and we've talked to you about complications that can occur. But if you get the vaccine, then we don't have to worry about these complications.
So I know that Emma has to get a vaccine, but do I have to get a vaccine as well?
You do not have to get a vaccine, but if she were to develop signs and symptoms and we thought you were at risk for getting the disease, we would maybe recommend doing prophylactic antibiotics just to prevent you from getting it in general. But no, you do not have to get a vaccine right now.
Well, thank you.